I'm Angie Atkinson, and this is Psych Hacks. Today on Psych Hacks, we're going to talk about how to spot a manipulator, okay? Because the truth is that they're everywhere. All right, let's get started. My name is Angie Atkinson, and this channel is all about teaching you what I know to be true. You really can create the life you want. So, while psychologists tell us that only about 4% of the population is truly classifiably sociopathological, the, it, that's about 12 million people just in the United States. Okay, that's kind of creepy, right? Not to mention, if you happen to be doing a job that brings manipulation on, like maybe if you are in law or media or, sales or Hollywood or whatever, politics, hmm, you know, then look, there's a pretty good chance that you probably have met a sociopath or two in your life. And since a lot of the people that watch my channel are here because of narcissists, I think it's safe to say that some of us have met at least one sociopath in our lifetime. Some of us, anyway, huh? All right, so manipulators in general are going to have a few traits, a few things you can watch for, okay? The first thing is they act like they like you really fast. All right. Suddenly they're your BFF. The second thing is they're like, oh, we have so much in common. Oh, yeah. Third thing, they make it clear to you that, hey, I got you. You could totally trust me very early in the relationship, maybe in the first conversation. They will give you little hints that they're lying. Unless they're super, super good. But there'll be little things like they won't look you in the eye, or their top lip will kind of shrink up, or, they'll put their hand over their mouth when they tell the lie, stuff like that. So, and then they'll use insults, to get you to react to them. So, you know, for example, early in the relationship, you might have a conversation with them about something important or, deep or confusing or whatever, intricate, and they will say things to you like, now, did you keep up with that whole conversation? Or they might decide that, you know, you're not capable of whatever, balancing your own checkbook early in the relationship, and they take it from you even though you're not really connected in that way yet, right? They might also tell you things like, you know, they might kind of give you promises that are like unsolicited. Like you didn't ask them to promise you anything, but they'll do it. Like if they are, they come into your office at work and they're telling you a story or something, and then they say all of a sudden, okay, I'll be out of your hair in just a minute. Just wait 1 second. I promise I'll be out of your hair. You know, um, that's a sign. They rarely want to hang out with you just to hang out with you. They always have an agenda. There's always a reason. Okay, so that's just a few of the things that you can start to look for when you're looking for a manipulator in your life. So how do you deal with it? Same way you deal with any narcissist. You gray rock. You keep yourself unemotional. You only say what you have to say. You only say ABC, no fillers, no kindnesses, no extra anything. You detach yourself from the conversation. You don't allow yourself to be the subject of the conversation, even if you are at that moment the subject. And then this is when, you know, you can kind of float outside your head a little bit and kind of watch the conversation like as though you're from afar. Careful with this tactic though, because sometimes it does lead to, cognitive dissonance later, or it leads to feeling like you're not really here all the time. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but if you need to use it to get through the tough times, do it. You can make sure that when the conversation is over, or when you're finished being abused in the conversation or manipulated, you don't say, I gotta go, or we should talk later, or anything like that. You just say something like, you know what, this conversation has run its course. I'll see you later. Or I gotta go. You know, it's time to go. Whatever. Remember that ultimately in the long run, none of this is going to matter. And I know that sounds silly, but like if you think about the world as a huge, you know, issue, uh, as a huge time and space continuum and blah, 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 in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. I know that doesn't help at all, but hey, there it is. All right, another thing you can do is watch for somebody who asks too many personal questions. Okay, so somebody who is not talking about themselves very much at the beginning of a relationship is somebody who might be trying to manipulate you, because manipulators know that it's hard to talk to not talk about yourself if somebody wants to hear about you. It's normal. So if you want to deal with that, you can kind of flip the script on them, and you can, as briefly as possible, answer their questions, only what you need to tell them, and then ask them a personal question. Turn it back on them, okay? Ask them, hey, how do you feel about, this baseball team? Or how do you feel about Trump? Ooh, be careful. How do you feel about politics? How do you feel about anything to get them talking? Because they won't even know what to do. It's kind of an interesting tactic, don't you think? I was kind of fascinated by the whole thing. So, another thing you can do is, if the narcissist, you know, remember that if you ask a narcissist to talk about their emotions in any way, they're not going to know what to do. It's going to kind of throw a wrench in the whole manipulation. So, the person, a manipulator, is going to expect you to open up and be a vulnerable person for them. Uh, but when you ask one of those people, a personal question, they'll be reluctant to share the information, at least the truth, and you'll probably be able to tell if they're lying, as long as you've recognized by this point that they are in fact a manipulator. So if you want to stop them from doing that, find something about them that is criticizable, and do so as politely as you can. Casually point out the little flaws. That will kind of distract them from their attempts to manipulate you. So, so you can just, point something out tiny, like, oh, you've got a little ketchup on your collar, or, oh, your lipstick is smeared a little bit over here, or whatever. Something that's going to make them really freak out, and something small, because, they're bullies, these people, and they want to be kind of the alpha person in the conversation. And so if you want to throw them off track, point out something small that they can't, a tiny flaw, tiny, uh, oh, I didn't realize your nose was a little crooked. No wonder it looks so funny when you look at me, or something like that. I don't know. Oh, those pants look a little tight today. That's a terrible thing to do to anybody. But the point is that if you're being manipulated by someone, you point out something tiny, even, like, say if it's a work person, you could point out something like, oh, I noticed you didn't dot your I's and cross your T's on that report. Something silly like that, that doesn't really matter, but that just makes them go, wait a minute, because they don't like to have flaws. And they certainly don't want you to know they have flaws. You feel me? My nose is so itchy today. So, what happens then is that you learn that, in fact, you can't, the narcissist learns that they can't take advantage of you when you treat them that way. A manipulator learns they can't take advantage of you when you react to them that way. So they don't continue to try to manipulate you. Another thing you can try to do is just talk about whatever stuff. Talk about stuff that doesn't matter, because they will certainly try to pull strings no matter what you talk about. They'll try to control the conversation. They'll try to make you have a reaction. And so no matter what it is, they'll have something. Like if you're talking about, oh, it's raining outside, they'll be like, oh, rainy days, man. It is so rainy. You know what I'm talking about? Rainy days are so depressing. Oh my God. You know, and you might be like, well, I love a rainy day. You know what I'm saying? Look at how gray the sky looks, and they might be like, the sky isn't gray, the sky is blue. How could you not know? You know, whatever. The other thing that really throws them off, a manipulator, especially early on, is when they come to you and they go, hey, can you do this thing for me? Or, you know, can can I tell you something wrong with yourself or whatever? And you just go, no. You can yell it and scream it if you want to, but no. Hey, have you heard about no? Could you do no? You know what I'm saying? Just like no. They don't even know what to do with that. You can only use that one once or twice though, to be honest with you, with the same person. Um, so yeah. So, the other thing you can do is give them a little bit of attention if you need to because they're somebody you work with or live with or whatever. But only give them the minimal, because the fact is that if you want to be happy and you don't want to be controlled by some narcissist or some manipulator, you don't want to be manipulated, you don't want to be run over by someone or God knows what, you you have to understand that the best way to deal with that is to distract them and cut the pattern, in its place. And that's why if you use those tips that I just shared with you, they kind of do the pattern interrupt thing, and the manipulator is unable to take it to the next level. So there it is. All right, this has been a slightly longer psych hack. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. As always, I sincerely appreciate that you've been here today. I appreciate that you allow me to be in your life every day, and I really appreciate that you're part of my life every day. Have a good one, you guys. I'll see you soon. It's my mission to teach others what I know to be true. You really can create the life you want. Take care of your body, take care of your soul, nurture the real you, and introduce him or her to the world. Be comfortable in your own skin and in your place in this world. Take your spot, take it now, and the universe will take its cue from you. You feel me? If so, subscribe to my channel. Let's get it done together.